What if the world's greatest lesson in destruction is slowly being forgotten? On August 6, 1945, at exactly 8:15 a.m., history changed forever. The United States dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. Just 3 days later, a second bomb fell on Nagasaki. These two events remain the only times nuclear weapons were ever used in warfare. The result? Two cities reduced to hellfire by human hands. But what if the threat never actually ended? Today, with tensions rising across the globe, talk of nuclear escalation is louder than ever. Iran's nuclear facilities have been reportedly destroyed. Global leaders speak of deterrence, but the shadow of Hiroshima still looms large. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind. December 7, 1941. Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor shocked the world, killing over 2,400 people. America, wounded and furious, launched a secret project in New Mexico, the Manhattan Project. Their mission? Create the deadliest weapon the world has ever seen. 3 years later, Germany surrendered, but Japan refused. And then, America unleashed the unimaginable. A B-29 bomber flew over Hiroshima and dropped a weapon more powerful than 20,000 tons of TNT. 78,000 people died instantly. 3 days later, another bomb struck Nagasaki, killing 40,000 more. That was the end of World War II in the Pacific. Nearly 80 years later, the scars are still raw. In Swansea, Wales, lives Kyoko Gibson, born in Hiroshima 3 years after the blast. Her life has been plagued by illness, a stroke, tumors, breast cancer. She barely speaks of it. Why? Because the pain never left. In Japan, the atomic nightmare wasn't fiction, it was real. I met the last living survivors of Hiroshima. Their stories are windows into a world we cannot afford to repeat. Hiroshima was a military hub. Survivors like Ko, 8, Miko, 13, and Kenji, 6, remember the horror. The night before the blast, Ko's father had a strange feeling. He begged her to stay home. That decision saved her life. At 8:15 a.m., a flash of white swallowed the city. The bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, hit near Ao Bridge. A quarter of Hiroshima's population died in seconds, most of them school children. The survivors escaped, only to witness a slower horror. People dying days or weeks later from radiation. An invisible killer, unleashed with the explosion. In the years that followed, the U.S. occupied Japan and censored coverage of the bombings. Yes, a medical commission was formed, but full details took decades to emerge. The bomb affected more than just cities. It tore into fertility, mental health, generations of life. And to this day, no one knows the full toll. Satoshi Tanaka didn't even live in Hiroshima during the blast. But as a toddler, his mother brought him into the radioactive ruins to search for relatives. Today, he suffers from what he believes are radiation-linked illnesses. In 2024, Satoshi and Ko were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Their mission? To prevent this horror from ever happening again. But they believe their time is running out. Some still argue that nuclear weapons are necessary, that fear keeps the peace. That's why over 12,000 nuclear warheads exist today across 9 nations. Israel won't even confirm if they have them. But modern nukes, they make Hiroshima look like child's play. Here's the truth. Nations want nukes to feel safe, but the very possession of them brings us closer to annihilation. At Hiroshima Peace Park, survivors like Satoshi and Kenji visit the memorial for the missing, people like Satoshi's aunt who were never found. So far, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are the only cities ever hit by nukes, but What if that changes? Because once the last living witnesses are gone, once those who saw the light and lived through the silence are no longer here, who will remind us what it truly means to press the button? This is why we must never forget Hiroshima. And this is why we ask, what if we do?